If you're the appeaser or the overgiver type, and just the thought of saying no or asserting a boundary turns your stomach inside out, this video is for you because 1, I believe in you. And 2, I believe that we don't need to push harder and develop tougher skin to make our boundaries work. We need to be more tactical and use small but bold steps to reach our destination. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to explore a secret hack that is going to help you to make those boundaries stick, something you probably haven't even heard about before. Hey, I'm Jen Silbert, founder of Good Girl Gone Bold, where good girls go to get bold. And today we're continuing the series I started last week on boundaries. I'm doing that because I know that we need it. So, in the last episode, we talked about why boundaries don't stick even when you want them to and you know they need to. I introduced what's called the awareness activation gap, which is this messy space in between knowing what you need to do and actually following through on it. In this video, I'm going to help you to start closing that gap without expecting yourself to become a boundary badass babe overnight. Because change isn't going to come from pushing harder. It's going to come from practicing smarter. So listen in, because I'm going to share a secret tactic that I use to help women start building boundaries even when they feel stuck or scared or hopeless. So let's go. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that we can continue these conversations on boundaries, bold moves, and everything in between that is going to help to reshape your identity to go from the appeasing, overgiving, compliant, silent, hiding good girl to the version of you that steps into her own power, that owns her value, and believes in herself. So let's just do a quick review of the last video on this awareness activation gap. And bottom line was that we women are smart. We know that we need to put boundaries into place to preserve our energy, our time, our emotional well-being, our integrity, our self-respect. That's the awareness part. But then there's the activation part where we get stuck when it's time to assert those boundaries. And I shared in the last video that one of the hidden blocks that isn't talked about much, that is one of the reasons why we just can't fill that gap, is because our bodies don't feel safe. Setting a boundary feels like a threat. So it triggers the nervous system, we get dysregulated, we retreat where it feels safe, and we just go ahead and oblige because it's much easier, feels safer. This is largely because the good girl in you has been conditioned to avoid conflict and be agreeable and be polite and to put other people first. So even if your mind is bold and you have the intellectual awareness, your nervous system just might still be in survival mode. It shows up especially in those moments where you need to assert yourself. What happens then? We realize that our bodies are just not quite ready for a hard no. So this is where we're going to try a new tactic. Bold mini moves are the key to kickstarting your boundaries in a safe way, in small little moves. So what would those look like? Take a pause and delay the response, but still respond. So what does that look like? As your first response. Is you in this split second, being able to collect your thoughts and not react quickly, like knee-jerk react like you're accustomed to doing. So remember that your reactions have kind of been conditioned over the years. And so oftentimes without even thinking, when somebody asks you for something, you're immediately responding with, yeah, sure. But instead now what you're going to do is you're going to use this tactic of a small pause or a delay. And that is a great way to start it. So you can ground yourself in that and then follow up with something like this. Let me get back to you. So it would look like, let me get back to you. Somebody wants something from you. They want you to respond right now. They need something. And who knows? It could be one of your kids. It could be your spouse. It could be a neighbor. It could be a client. And you get a text. That's not so hard because you've got a little built-in time to respond there. The challenge is often when you're meeting face-to-face with somebody and you need to provide a response in the moment. So that's where you go, let me think about that. And you could just leave it at that. Remember, don't over-explain. Resist the urge to over-explain. Resist the urge to apologize. You have a right to discern whether or not you will oblige. Remember, we're moving out of the obliger, the appeaser, the overgiver, and we're reclaiming some of that power with these boundaries. So that's the first option. Let me get back to you on that. And, even smile. All right, even smile. That works out fine. Because then it doesn't feel like there's all this heavy tension. Because you might feel a little bit scared at that point because this is new to you. But, let me get back to you. So another option might be, I need to check my calendar. Can I get back with you? Now, you've reclaimed that power to make that decision. There's no knee-jerk response. And this even gives you a little bit more time. You're going to go check your calendar. And then you can respond. I don't have time for that right now. I'm not available for that right now. You don't have to say anything else. You could even go, thank you very much. I'm not available right now. I don't have the time. Again, no over-explaining, no apologizing. Now, if you really want to turn the tables, you could have an alternative. You could say, here's what works better for me. So if you can think in the spur of the moment, then you can offer an alternative. Now, oftentimes our brains are in fawn or freeze mode, and so it's hard to think in the moment. And that is what the beauty of this pause is that it gives your brain an anchor to just hold on so that you're still in the moment, but you're giving yourself time to think it through. These responses are actually assertive, self-honoring delays that create space so that you can respond with clarity and not guilt or fear or obliging. Superpower move. Here's a big takeaway here for you to consider. In order to assert boundaries that stick, not only are we starting small, we're building self-trust and safety in small doses. And this will have a cumulative effect so that it will build upon each other until you get stronger and stronger and bolder in setting those boundaries. These little micro moves are kind of like physical therapy for your voice. You need to build this muscle, rebuild trust between your body and your mind. And avoiding setting those boundaries is not going to give you the practice that you need for this to work. So this delay tactic, this pause, this little mini move is actually a pattern interrupter. And that's what our brain needs in order to rewire and find new ways of responding in our new bold girl state. The delays interrupt the automatic yes. and they invite more self-reflection and clarity. You're going to feel stronger and stronger the more that you practice this. Every time you honor your need to pause, what you're doing is you're reinforcing the belief that you matter, your time matters, your resources matter, and that, my friend, is a boundary win. Yay! Wins matter. All right, so what can you do now? Now it's time for you to go out and practice. You're going to try one bold mini move. You're going to practice this delay tactic. Even if it just starts with a to anchor you in and let you come up with another response than what you're used to. Even if it feels a little uncomfortable, this works the same way that confidence does, which is that you step into your fear and you do it anyway. But what we're looking at is making it small and not as impactful, but still effective. You could start right now. And these bold mini moves are the bridge that take you from the awareness to the activation. And you are going to feel so satisfied that you have finally done it. So, which bold mini move are you going to try today? How is this small little delay tactic going to work for you? Who are you going to experiment on? Stick around for next week's video as we continue this series on boundaries. And we're going to talk about boundary backslides. What happens when you set boundaries and then you break them? Talk all about it and why. All right? You take care and let's go bold together.